Hello, brothers and sisters. I wanted to make a video real quick and say that the law forces us into a ritual. That's what I mean when I talk about this idea of due process and just the idea of being forced to do something. So, for example, when you send your kids to school, well, you could teach them to plant crops, and you could teach them to feed the cows and to feed the chickens and to clean chickens and clean cows and harvest a crop, but instead we're forced into a ritual of the law. So whenever I speak of that right there, we are told that we're supposed to go to church, and that is somehow satisfying God when we get there, and this sorcerer pretends he can control God, and also they carry their Bibles like talisman into the church, believing that God is going to honor their carrying of a religious object like a relic into one of these buildings, and they esteem this building as sacred ground, when in fact all of those things I just mentioned are just entirely wrong. And we know it's wrong, and we know it's wrong because the first time they ever did the ritual at the tabernacle that was commanded by God that they should do it exact and don't mess it up, they messed it up. Fire burst out on Aaron's sons and it consumed them. And they had burned strange fire. They had, if I remember correctly, they burned the sacrifice on accident. So they had just completely messed up the ritual. And that's symbolic of how we can't keep God's law. So the royal law is that we love one another, the ones who are believing, and even love our enemies and attempt to do good to them and give them truth and explain to them God the best we can. So no one can force you to love somebody, right? Only God could make you see a complete stranger and that stranger see you, and you realize you both love God, and then you love one another. Love the royal law, which fulfills the whole of the law. All of the things are briefly comprehended in it, that we love one another. So what's interesting is they give themselves over to this idea of a liturgy or a worship service or this due process and this social contract that they have, where they just follow along with everything anybody tells them, almost, as long as it doesn't have to do with God. So I just wanted to portray some of those concepts and to share it with you while it was on my mind. And Jesus Christ came and abolished the rituals so that we would no longer have that enmity that would stand between us and God. And now the rituals are abolished and we stand before God, and the scripture says that He works through us. So we can also identify now who the ones who have Satan working through them are the ones who want to bind us to these rituals and the idea that through them we are becoming keepers of the law. So I hope you found that interesting, and I'll see you on the next video. Alright, bye.